The pencil is the ultimate symbol of masculinity in today's society. Okay, before we get into this week's vlog, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping because I have finally caved and started a new Insta account. Who knows if when the other one will come back. I do have a organization called Repco. I'll put them below because they are compiling a case against Meta, I think in Europe, but they also help people get their accounts back. So I've engaged them. It could take a while. So in the meantime, I have started a new one. It is the House of Tash. I will link it below. Please go and follow it. I'm trying to rebuild to my 60K that I lost, and that'd be really appreciated. Secondly, I have an impersonator on TikTok who has magically ripped off all my content off my old Instagram account, literally a few weeks before I was taken down. So it's a little suspicious. And they now have 5,000 followers and 200,000 likes on TikTok, and they are scamming people money. Please do not give this person money. It is Tasha Mia _ at TikTok. I can't even grow on TikTok because TikTok just bans me all the time. This person, I don't know how they've done it with all my content. I have contacted TikTok. They have not done anything. I have engaged someone else to try and get that account down. I will never contact you on social media channels to ask for money. So you can contact me through my websites, through courses, through coaching, training, contact me forms. Do not ever think I'm going to reach out to you on a social media channel and ask for money. Okay, so housekeeping done. This is actually taken from a fellow commenter on YouTube who asked me to do an episode on SPH. So I'm going to be using the word pencil for the P in this. So small pencil humiliation. I actually get this a lot, which is why I was very keen to do a vlog on it because I have a lot of experience with it and people misunderstand this one a lot. So when I started and I heard about this kink, I assumed that the person bringing me this kink would have an extremely small pencil always. And most of the time, that is not the case whatsoever. So I started thinking there must be something else going on here. And guess what? There is. So today we're going to get into SPH and what it is and why people like it. So SPH, or small pencil humiliation, you might be able to work out what it is. It's when you engage someone in the dominant role to make fun of your pencil, to make fun of its size, to make fun of its lack of capability, to make fun that it would never be used, to make fun it would never pleasure anyone, to make fun of absolutely how pathetic it is. And so you might think, why would anyone want that? So let's get into now the reasons why. So reason why, and I've talked about this on a previous vlog, is the humiliation aspect itself. Some people are wired for erotic humiliation. So SPH falls into this category for them. As I've explained on my previous vlog on humiliation, shame and arousal have very similar bodily reactions. The same flush, the same rapid heartbeat, the same held breath, the same sweat that comes over you. They're very similar physiological responses. So when they're feeling that shame or that embarrassment, their whole body lights up. And so some people really chase that arousal state. So in this case, the SPH becomes a vehicle for that. So when those words land or that humiliation or laughter is delivered, their ego drops and they can completely surrender the part of them and that part of them and how it's perceived and managed in everyday life. Reason 2 is taking the wound back or reclaiming the shame. So a lot of people do this in different areas of kink play, is they might use something from the past or something that was said or something that happened to them, and they bring it into the scene or into the play as a way to reclaim the shame. So SPH can fall also into this category. It could have been a ex-girlfriend who said something horrible in a fight, or an older brother who had really good aim with his words. Something that's happened in the past. Maybe they had a locker room moment when they were 7 years old before they had fully developed. It could be a range of things. So now they, in a scene or in the play, they bring it into that space and they give it to me or the dominant they're engaging with. But this time it's their chosen space, their chosen words, and on their terms. And by someone delivering it who's not going to leave at the end, who's still going to be there, who's still going to hold that space. So that can be extremely cathartic and healing. Something happens when you use something that was made you to feel bad in the past, or something that you carried a lot of negative weight to it. Something happens when you use that in a consensual, warm space. It loses its power. And I have seen people just completely smash down like years and years of shame and trauma from being able to take the power out of these words and play with them on their terms. Now, the third reason I'm going to go through today is actually the one I think most people fall under. And a lot of them fall under this reason without actually realizing it. And so I've had clients, especially clients who like to be in chastity for prolonged periods of time, get concerned about the long-term effects of not chastity, that can be a different topic, get concerned about the lasting impact it might have on them by engaging in this play, because they don't really understand where it's coming from for them, because for them it's not something that was in their childhood, or it wasn't something from a past event that they're reclaiming, and they're a little bit lost on like, why do I actually like this? So this is something that I've just learned from many years of practicing, and it's something that I teach as well. The pencil is the ultimate symbol of masculinity in today's society. It's also another symbol of the patriarchal society that we do still live in mainly. When a man uses SPH, they are allowing themselves to completely put down the mask of masculinity that they have to wear under a patriarchal society every day. And I know people might think, oh, like poor men, what about everyone else living in this society? But it is very heavy on men as well. Men are constantly ranked from the time they are children to all the way in adulthood. They are ranked on their height. They are ranked on their salary. They are ranked on their job title. And this is a lot of pressure for a lot of men. And so when they come and play with SPH, what they're actually playing with is allowing themselves to relieve themselves of these roles that they are made to perform in their everyday lives. It's a lot of pressure for a lot of men, especially men who have a lot of responsibility in their life. They get judged on whether they cried, whether they've been vulnerable. They get judged on everything in a very masculine, patriarchal viewpoint. So SPH allows them to put all that down and walk into a room where they don't need to be adequate. So what SPH can offer is he can walk into a room and completely put the apparatus down, and he actually gets to choose to be inadequate. He gets to walk into that room and get attention and arousal from someone who is fully present with him in this. The eroticism of this is enormous. I've had clients tell me how much lighter they feel by being able to just be in that room for however long without having to have the mask of masculinity or performance. They can just play with the inadequacy, and guess what? The sky didn't fall down. I'd actually argue that this play is proof that patriarchy is really costing men, and it's something that I am seeing a lot in the studio. It's something I'm seeing a lot in my coaching, that patriarchy doesn't just cost people who identify not as cis men, but it costs cis men a lot as well. So I just want to go over quickly how you should run any type of humiliation scene, because it's important that someone just doesn't hand you I want to be humiliated about this, and you're like, cool, let's go. It's important you know how to run a humiliation scene. Number one, you need to understand the psychology beneath it. People like being humiliated for different reasons. So you need to understand the why and the intention before you engage in a scene. So you need to be asking questions like, is it humiliating acts? Is it something I'm making you do? Is it personal humiliation? Is it something aimed at you personally, your appearance, your intellect? You need to get granular as to what exactly is the point of this humiliation and how are we going to express it in a scene. I always ask for turn-ons and triggers. So turn-ons are things that are going to help me achieve their intention. It could be words that they really like to hear. It could be acts that will get them into that headspace they are chasing. Now, triggers, on the other hand, are words or acts or situations that's going to do the opposite. It's going to take them out of that headspace. And it could also trigger some sort of traumatic response. So we always need to be also asking for triggers as well. As with any play that we do, we need safe words and safe signals. If you know me, I love the traffic light system. You also need signals, not just words, because some people go non-verbal. I don't just mean when they have a gag in their mouth. Some people, when they achieve certain psychological states, such as subspace, will go non-verbal. So you need to also have a safe signal. I love head shaking, because even if you're like bound, gagged, can't hear, can't see, can't feel, can't move, you generally at some point can wiggle your head. So that's one I like, but you can get creative. Some people like to give people something in their hands that will drop like keys so you can hear the sound. And please, 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 please don't forget aftercare. I think people can really skip and scrimp on this one. Aftercare is a non-negotiable. A scene or a play is not over until you do aftercare. You have to bring people back down to earth gently. When we are playing, we release all types of chemicals in our brain. We release endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin, I'm forgetting one, adrenaline. And at some point, these chemicals will stop being produced and then we crash. And so aftercare can really help lessen the crash. It doesn't completely obliterate it, but it does help. And it also helps prevent feelings of regret or feelings of not feeling connected to the other person because they just finished the scene and left, or embarrassment or anything like that. It's really important you come up with an aftercare plan. Everyone's different. It could be a cuddle. It could be a walk by yourself. It could be having some ice cream together. It could be having a hot bath. Whatever it is for you, just make sure you do aftercare. And I want to speak something to the dominance, because especially with small pencil humiliation, dominance can often feel really mean. It's not something that we're told in life we should go and joke about with people, especially men. And so you're like, you might be really worried about offending them. So this is why psychology, this is why pre-scene negotiation is so important when it comes to play. Understanding why someone is searching or chasing something and what their intention is with it is going to completely flip how you feel about it. I know it did for me. I hated humiliation and degradation play at the beginning of my career because I didn't understand it. And then once I started learning and understanding the psychology of it and what I was actually doing and what I was giving people, changed my practice completely. And now it's one of my favorite things to do. So I hope that debunked some myths around small pencil humiliation. And as always, I hope everyone's having a lovely week and stay kinky.